Well, let's start this section off with something fairly simple. Let's grab these mud flaps here and I'll hit the division key. And let's go ahead and remove the mirror modifier. Looks like our scale is applied. I'll zoom in with the period key. And if we tab into edit mode, we could probably just select the edges on the back of these here and then go ahead and grab the corners all around here and add edges to those. Add seams to those. Let's do that. Let's select everything, press U and unwrap, and that looks terrible. So what did I forget? Oh, I didn't actually apply the seams to the back edges, so let's do that. Here we go. All right, let's try that once again. I'll hit A, U, and unwrap, and that looks quite a bit better. All right, let's apply that test pattern. Let's take a look at it. Looks pretty good. We can hit the division key, go back, and apply the mirror modifier here, and click apply. All right, we've got those done. How about these right here? Let's hit that division key. Once again, remove the mirror modifier. Let's apply the scale. We don't have uniform scale here, so let's press Control A and apply the scale. If we tab into edit mode, we can select the edges all the way around the back, like this. And also in the cutouts here, let's go ahead and select these edges and these edges here. And let's also grab an edge maybe up at the top, just one edge on the inside of those, because then that will allow it to lay flat if we grab these edges on the other side, right here. All right. Oh, I guess we should do the corners. Let's get those. And then I believe we'd be ready to try our unwrap. Let's press A, U, and unwrap. Yep, that looks pretty good. Apply the test pattern, and we can see how it looks. All right, yep, let's hit the division key. Let's apply the mirror modifier, and click apply here. Good. How about these crossbars right here? It looks like we can't see the ends of them, so if they have end caps, we can remove them. Let's hit the division key. Yep, they do have end caps. Oh, and we also need to apply that scale. Control A, apply the scale. Let's go into edit mode and get rid of the caps on the ends, which will make our lives a lot easier in terms of UV mapping this, because all we'll need to do is just grab one edge here and one edge here, mark seams, and I think we can just then hit the A key, U, and unwrap, and there we go. Yeah, those look pretty good. Let's apply the material. And now, why don't we see the material on the other one? Well, that's an interesting question. So, in the newest version of Blender, you can go into edit mode with two different objects selected. It used to be that you couldn't do that you could only have one object selected to go into edit mode. In Blender 2.8, you can select multiple objects, hit the tab key, and go into edit mode at the same time, which seems like it's a good idea. However, there are other tools like applying a material that only works with one selected object or another. So I'm not exactly convinced that this is a step forward, but it is something that you can do now in Blender 2.8. Let's go ahead and press Control J and combine the two, and now we can see the material on both of the tubes. All right, let's hit the division key, and how about this thing right here? If I recall, yeah, I never really finished this, did I? It's just kind of hanging open here. So what let's do is, real quick, let's just go ahead and finish this up. I will bring this back to here, and I think I'd like to insert an edge loop here and maybe bring it up to there, and then select this face right here and extrude it up. I believe this is what we did for the other one. And then let's just delete that face there. Let's hit X and delete faces. And so there we go. I believe that's pretty much done. Let's hit the division key and take a look at it. Yeah, it's very much like the other one in the front, so we can just select edges all the way around here and mark a seam, and I guess edges all the way around here and break this piece off. We can then select an edge here to split that out into one long strip, and we can also select the corners here like this. Let's just do that. And then, do we have our scale applied? No, we do not. So let's press Control A and apply the scale. Hit U and unwrap, and that looks fine. Let's add the material. Yeah, I believe that'll work. So let's hit the division key, and how about this piece right here? Let's take a look at this guy. We should apply the scale. Let's do that. We don't really need the faces on top, so let's delete those. And I think I'd like to just select the edges on either side of this, because this is going to be underneath, very small. We're not going to see it, but I do need to UV map it just so we can apply a texture to it. So what I can do actually is just Alt-click between two of the faces here, and then I'm going to switch to Edge mode and press the C key, and I'm just going to middle mouse button click and drag. Oh, here, let me first press Alt-Z. Now I'm going to hit the C key, middle mouse button, click and drag, and just deselect all the edges down the center. And that leaves, or should leave, all the edges on either side. And now let's just mark those seams, select everything, U, and unwrap. And there we go. All right. So there's that. Let's go back. And this guy, this drum here, can we see the back? No, we cannot. So let's, first of all, delete that face in the back right here. We don't need that. And that makes our lives a bit easier once again, because we can just select this edge, and, well, actually, no, I'll select this edge up here, and then maybe we could deselect an edge down here. Let's do that. Okay. So if we select it all, hit U and unwrap, that's what we get. Not too bad. That'll work. And let's apply the material. There we go. Looks like we need to work on these things. Oh, let's do this right here. Let's grab that axle. That's very similar to what we saw in the front. So if we hit the division key, I believe we just need to apply the mirror modifier with clipping turned on here. Apply. We can get rid of this edge right here. And we can also get rid of the faces on the end, can't we? Let's get rid of those here. And then we just select an edge right up here, mark a seam, and then unwrap here, and that should be fine. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Let's now work on these things. Okay, it looks like it's all been mirrored over. So if we hit the division key, there's that. Okay, so now let's just remove the mirror modifier and, oh, look at this. So what I did is I created individual objects and mirrored them over from different sides as I was going. So that's kind of interesting. What we can do here, let me press Control Z and bring that back. What let's do is let's apply the mirror modifier, because what I want to do is get them all on one side. So if I apply the mirror modifier here and then tab into edit mode, and maybe I'll go to face mode, press Alt Z so I can see through it, and press the B key and border select all of these and just delete faces. And that will get rid of that one side. Now we can work on this one side, and when we're all done, we can mirror it over all in one piece over to the other side. All right. So if we tab into edit mode, let me press Alt Z and 2 to go to edge mode. We know how to do this coil. We've done this before, so we can press Shift H and then select an edge right down here on the bottom. And maybe we also want to select an edge right here in the center too, just so it isn't such a big long strip. Let's mark seams there, U and unwrap. And I feel like we maybe need to apply the scale. Let's take a look. It's giving us some weird things here. Let's tab into edit mode. Well, our scale seems to be applied. Let's take another look at this. Oh, it's because I didn't apply, once again, I didn't apply that seam. Let's do that again. Control E and mark seam. I did get that one there. So that's why that was an oddly shaped thing, is because I hadn't marked that seam on the bottom of the tube there. So let's hit U, unwrap, and there we go. That's beginning to look a little better. Yeah, I think angle-based works good. All right, so let's press Alt-H to go back, and let's select this thing here, Shift-H, and I think all we did here was just hit U and unwrap, right? And it just flattened it out. Yeah, that's all we did. Okay, Alt-H to go back. Now, we've got this piece and this piece and this piece, and we went through and marked seam on the front piece like this. But you know what? All of these things, let's just try Smart UV Project. Try and save a little time here. Smart UV Project. Okay. I think that's going to be fine. All right. Let's take a look at this one here. It looks like we can delete whatever's up in here and down in here as well. So let's press Shift-H. So down here, we've got a face here. Let's delete that. And up here we've got, oh, look at this. We've got a whole little piece here. I don't know if I meant to do that or not. Let's hit the period key and zoom in. And whatever I meant to do, it didn't work. So let's press Control plus and let's hit X and delete faces because we don't need those. Now for this, I think if I hit the division key and go back, we can see that our main view of this is going to be here on the inside. So if we go to the outside here, like this, oh, it looks like I deleted part of this. Let's press Control Z and go back here. Let me deselect these. Let's make sure I don't delete what we don't want to delete. Okay, there we go. And if I go back out here, I can, I think, just select this one edge here. And then if we unwrap this, yeah, I think that'll be fine. If we take a look at the test material, yeah, I think this will be fine because we're going to be seeing it from this angle. We aren't really going to get a very good view of it over here. So I think that'll work. Let's press Alt-H to go back to here. Press L for this. And it looks like, well, let's take a look at this. I'll press Shift-H and let's hit the period key and zoom in. And for this, can we just select another edge back here like this and do this again? Will it work? Well, we need to get rid of this face right here to be able for this to work. This is open, so that might work up there. Let's give it a try. Let's press U and unwrap, and it's a bit stretched here where the seam is. It's true. But once again, the tires should be blocking our view of this. So in here is pretty good. All right. So if we go back, let's give a try to this one here. Alt-H to bring those back. Hit the L key, Shift-H, and let's take a look at this. Now we have another face down here. Let's delete that. And I think we're going to need to keep this up here because we can see it. If I hit the division key and tumble around over here, yeah, we'll be able to see it up here. Tab into object mode, and yeah, we'll be able to see that there. So let's hit that division key again, and I guess what we can do is just split it out here, mark a seam, and where's going to be our main view of this? Is it going to be underneath? Well, we're not going to see it a whole lot. We're going to see this side maybe. Let's see. Well, we'll see this side. We won't really see a whole lot here, and we won't really see a whole lot in here. So I guess what we should do is put our seam along in here, kind of hide it in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Mark the seam there, and oh, let's also deselect one of the edges here so that it stays connected. There we go. All right, let's press A, U, and unwrap. And then if we press Alt-H, and take a look at it here. Yeah, it's going to be hidden behind that spring. The seam is. All this looks pretty good. All right. So let's now hit the division key to go back, and we'll mirror this over now. Looks like our origin is over here. Let's put it in the center of the grid just to make sure it's where we want it to be. And then let's add a mirror modifier and apply that there. All right, I think there's just one last piece right here. We should go ahead and finish this up. Let's hit the division key. Let's apply the scale. Let's tab into edit mode. Let's find a place where we can add a seam, maybe on the inside here. And deselect it here. We'll add this seam up here and maybe clear one right here. Okay. And then we should probably add seams maybe right here. And maybe one right here. And we could break this out right here. And this out right here. And we really don't need these faces down here, so let's grab those and delete those. Now let's see how we're doing. It's got its scale applied, so let's select everything and unwrap. And then let's apply our material, and let's give that a try. So there we go. I think we've got the entire vehicle UV mapped.